And now we're going to start finding volume. So we need to graph these two functions. I've got x squared and x to the fourth. And if you go to Zoom Standard, this red one is x to the fourth, this blue one is x squared. And I said find the finite region. So this area between them will go up forever, and that's infinite. So if you zoom in, there's a little tiny finite area right here. So that's actually between -1 and +1. Let me change the window on that. Zoom in. And then you can see this little moon shape right here, and it's going to be the same shape over there. And since it's symmetric, what I can do is integrate from 0 to 1 and then double the answer. So we're going to, oh, another thing before we go. If you trace, right now it's on the blue one. And so the top one is x squared, which is important because you always need to do the top one minus the bottom one. The bottom one is x to the fourth. So we've got this little moon shape right here. And if you square 1, it equals 1. If you take 1 to the fourth, it equals 1. So right here, this is 1, and on the y value, this is 1. And then we're going to take that shape and rotate it around the x-axis. And in general, volume equals pi r squared times dx. Now in this case, we have two of them, so we'll have pi minus the bigger radius squared, and then pi minus the smaller radius squared. So this one is x squared, and the bottom one is x to the fourth. So like I said, it's symmetric, so I could just integrate from 0 to 1 and then double the answer. And they're both going to have pi r squared, so I could just factor out the pi like this. And then the big radius. So when you're measuring the radius, you always need to go from the axis of rotation over to the object. So this is going to be the big radius. So that goes from 0 to x squared. So the big radius is going to be x squared, and then that radius needs to be squared. And then minus, and so for the next radius, it's going to go from the axis rotation to the object, so that's going to be x to the fourth. And basically the minus means take this region that's underneath the x squared, and then take the region that's underneath the x to the fourth. And when you subtract this part out, then it leaves what's in the middle. So it leaves this little moon shape. So then it's going to be x to the fourth gets squared. And before integrating, I'm going to do a little bit of algebra. Like this pi, you could factor it out. And then this would be x to the fourth. And this is going to be x to the eighth. All right, that was the hardest part. Now do the antiderivative. So for the first one, it's going to be x to the 5 over 5. This one will be x to the 9 over 9. And then evaluate from 0 to 1. When you substitute a 1, this is going to be 1/5 minus 1/9. And then when you substitute 0, that's going to be 0, and that's going to be 0. So the 0 contributes nothing to the problem. And then how much is this? So that would be 9 minus 5 is 4, and the common denominator would be 45. And so finally, let's see, that can't be reduced, that can't be reduced, so it's going to be 8 pi over 45.